I didn't even think about this stuff when I was preparing to do this stream. This wasn't even in my mind. And my final point, which, I mean, I don't know if I really have to explain it anymore, is why are they doing this? It's because this system of the seasonal storytelling, which is that they have a concept, and so they stretch it out. So this was a perfect disaster. This season is a perfect disaster, and I think it's like the tragic end of the seasonal model. Because starting off, the way the seasonal stories work is that they will create a concept. And so let's take Season of the Haunted. Okay? What is the concept of Season of the Haunted? It is us on the Leviathan looking for Callus. What is point A? Us getting onto the Leviathan and beginning to look. And I know people are, oh, but the nightmares and the... That's okay, that's the therapy stuff. It doesn't matter at all. Do you think anybody remembers what Zavala's son's name was? It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Point A is us going onto the Leviathan and looking for Callus. Okay. What is point B? Point B is Callus getting to the witness and escaping us. Okay, cool. So they have this concept, point A and point B. They now need to stretch that over the course of how many weeks that the story goes on for. Okay, cool. So with this season, the concept is point A, we have Savathun's 15th wish, and we're going to try and use that. And then point B is we successfully get into the Traveler. Now this is where it all falls down. First of all, because it's the 4th season, we already knew what the ending was going to be. Okay? When we were on the Leviathan in Season of the Haunted, no, Lightfall hadn't even been revealed yet. Lightfall was revealed with Plunder, so yeah, we didn't even know that Callus was really gonna do anything with the witness or whatever. Maybe we would stop him, maybe we wouldn't, you know. With this, we just know, right? Point A and B is gone. We know point B from day one. We knew point B from before day one. The second disaster, and the second reason why it's a disaster, is because they have point A and they have point B. What did I say? They need to figure out a way to make it stretch, point A getting to point B, make that stretch however many weeks they need. However many weeks the story will go on for. The second problem is that how do I say this? The second problem was that this concept of using the wish, there is no process. I said this before in a previous stream. It would have been better if the first half of the season was spent trying to decrypt what the code for the wish was from Savathun's wings. When you have the wish, that's it. I even said it would have been better if, for whatever reason, okay, you have the wish, but the wall doesn't work. And they could have done that, because every single wish you make, if I remember correctly, every wish that you make, is technically before the curse happens. So maybe when the curse happens, it disrupts the connection to the wall or something, you know? So then the season is spent, okay, we have the wish, but we can't put it into the wall. The issue is that they didn't do any of this, and so that means that literally to go from point A to B, the whole story, there's no searching through the Leviathan and trying to find. It's literally go somewhere safe, put in the code, and get your result. So there's actually no reason why point A to B isn't one day. So here's the other thing you need to remember. You need to remember this. Bungie chose this story. This was not set in stone. Riven coming back might have been, but all of this, they chose this. So they've actually put themselves in this hole. So the first problem was that we already knew what the ending was going to be. Takes the anticipation out of it. The second problem is that the whole process of going from point A to B literally takes normally like 30 seconds. And so they're screwed. They have to make, so now they don't just have to make it stretch out. They have to start jumping through hula hoops to make that work. And then you have your third disaster, the third reason. The excuse doesn't work. And I've already explained why. It's very flimsy and it falls apart quickly. And people know that. And it's going to feel like busy work because it is. It really is. I want you to think about this. The witness is inside the Traveler. We should have lost already, but it is what it is. And we're collecting Ahamkara eggs. That's the third reason. People don't like that. It's bad, right? It is bad, okay? It's really chore filled and painful and all of that. That's the third problem. And then we have the fourth problem. Yes, there is a fourth problem. It's drip fed. And so you cannot make any real progress because it's an obligation and it's mandatory that they stop you. And you have to wait exactly a week. And so, let me put it like this. Let's just say you're a player and you are thinking about this. The season comes out and then you play the first mission. And now you know what the concept and the overall journey of the season is going to be, most likely. You already know how the season's going to end. You already know what's going to happen. You're annoyed because really you had the wish and it should have just taken you 30 seconds. But this excuse really clearly is an excuse for padding, and you can tell that they just needed to stretch things out. At the same time, the padding doesn't even have any real interest or enjoyment to it. There's no journey. It's just you doing somebody else's chores. And at the same time, it's very flimsy, and there are ways that you could have gotten around that. And finally, you can't even do it at your own pace. The world is kind of broken in the sense that if it was us, we would be literally doing it as fast as possible. And yet, we are told, okay, just wait. And then we'll come back to you. Just wait. And you know what the worst part is? The worst part is that the season story ends before... And actually, this is the fifth disaster. The seasonal story always ends, pretty much, before the season does. Sure, maybe they'll like save one last cutscene for the very end, but there's like several weeks in between that. That's even worse for this, because the ending of this season is us going into the Traveler. And so what's theoretically going to happen is that we are going to get all of her eggs, or this story will be concluded before the season is done. And so we will end up getting the wish from her, and then we'll just have to sit. So let me put it like this. Not only did we lose in Lightfall, and the witness got inside the Traveler, and we're expected to believe that the witness couldn't get what it wanted in a year and a half of being there. But once we finally did get what we needed, because the season ends normally, even if you don't accept what I'm saying about the season story ending before the season does, the season's still going to end in February, and Final Shape comes out in June. Which means at best, you're talking about like 4 months of you having the ability to go inside the Traveler, and you can't. I didn't even think about this stuff when I was preparing to do this stream. This wasn't even in my mind. But when you really break it down, this was the perfect storm. This story shows every single flaw in the seasonal model. And the beautiful irony is that Bungie did choose it. So not only is this a story that is going to feel like filler, not only is this a story that shows all of the flaws of the seasonal model, but in the process of them having to come up with this, they also compromised the narrative, I guess, integrity of Riven, and they also borderline broke the lore of the Ahamkara. It's a bit of a mess, isn't it? So that's my thoughts on that. That's why all of this happened. And that's the perfect storm of the... honestly, I could have made this its own video, guys.